What a load of old horseshit that was. Manchester United nil, West Brom nil. Really, really poor from Manchester United today. Yes, we've had injuries and suspensions to deal with, but still, them players out there have created very, very little chances in that game against a well-organised defensive West Brom team who have come to Manchester and just pretty much parked the bus for the whole 90 minutes. Never really looked like they wanted anything bar a 0-0 scoreline, and they've got that. Well deserved. I mean, congratulations to them. They've got the draw, but Manchester United have been very, very, very poor today. As I say, there was hardly any creative players on the pitch. Mkhitaryan was playing in the number 10 role, looking to create stuff. There was always 2 or 3 men around him. He couldn't get that space, and there was no other spark from anyone on that pitch, really, all game. Rashford was probably better than Martial, but Martial, again, was fucking horseshit today for me. Really does need to step it up, or he is going to be shown the door by Jose Mourinho at some point. And I've said a lot on Twitter that he hasn't performed well at all this season, and I've got a lot of criticism for that, but he hasn't performed well at all. Today, when we needed him, he hasn't stepped up to the mark at all. We spent a lot of money on him, £58 million on this player, or potentially that, and he's just not performing all season. He's been pretty average, not scoring goals, not creating chances today. We need some goals from someone else on the pitch other than Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and the only other player that has stepped up to the mark in terms of goals when he hasn't been playing is really Juan Mata, and Juan Mata's out probably for the rest of the season. This has really got to be addressed in the summer, which is why I've said on Twitter a lot that Mbappe and Griezmann both need to be signed by Manchester United in the summer. 2 players of that ilk need to be coming into Manchester United. Whether it's definitely them 2 players, but I think two forwards that are scoring goals regularly need to be coming into Manchester United. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is in his 30s, 35 now. We cannot rely on him much longer. Yes, he will be back from suspension for the next game against Everton, but we're throwing away another 2 points at home, which could potentially cost us now that top 4, because we are really, really going to struggle to make it. Liverpool have got an easier run of fixtures than us. We've got so many games with the Europa League. I think that Jose Mourinho has realised that the Europa League is probably the best bet for Manchester United, but playing like that, we are never going to win that Europa League. There are better teams in it than this horseshit West Brom seed team. I know that they're in the top half of the table and they're having a good season, but they've just beat us pretty much in the game, because they've got to come away with what they wanted out of that game. They've got a 0-0 win in this game, if you want to call it. They've completely outdone us. We've had no options in this game. Okay, Jose Mourinho hasn't had the personnel on the bench, which is partly still down to Louis van Gaal getting rid of so many forwards over the last few years. The likes of Van Persie, Hernandez, all these players, Di Maria, Falcao, and not replacing them at all, really. Only bringing in Anthony Martial, who has been so poor. I really am disappointed. Obviously, Rashford is still only young. Had 1 or 2 chances today, but he's not going to score. He's never been that goal-scoring threat that Manchester United need at this moment in time in his career. Even in the under-18s, was never scoring the amount of goals that Manchester United currently need a player to be hitting. We will go again in the week against Everton, but for me, this top 4 race, we got a little bit closer, but I'm still not so sure if we can get it or not. Last week I was getting a bit more confident and maybe getting a bit carried away, but you can always see one of these results potentially coming around the corner, and with games coming thick and fast, it's going to be hard. But with no Champions League football next year, it will be difficult again. We really desperately need to win that Europa League somehow. Hopefully get some players back fit, because you're looking at that bench and it is absolutely dog shit. I mean, the players on it are pretty much all defensive options today. Wilcock being on the bench, Fosu Mensah on the bench, Darmian, you got Rooney, Blind, and 2-1 Zebi. Not enough options on the bench. Really poor Manchester United side that spent hundreds of millions of pounds over the last few years, and something's got to be addressed in the summer in the attacking sense. Definitely at least one creative player and one striking option that has got to be brought into this team. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on it. Do you think now the top 4 is now gone? I think it's going to be very, very difficult now to make that top 4 with these stupid points we're dropping, because we've got some tough games coming up on the horizon at some point. Manchester City, Tottenham and Arsenal and Chelsea, we've all got to play before the end of the season. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult with Liverpool's fixtures that they've got. We may still even finish 6th, and that would be dreadful considering how badly Arsenal are playing. I wouldn't mind fucking it off if we actually went on and won the Europa League, but you can't fuck this league off without knowing whether, because the Europa League's still going on for a long while, so he's still got to get that medium between trying to challenge for 4th spot and trying to win the Europa League, but we will have to wait and see. I mean, potentially we are still the favourites for that Europa League, but with performances like this on the cards and with a lack of options in creative areas, it does make it difficult in order to win that, because we're still only at the quarter-final stage. We've got another 4 games before you could potentially get to a final, so it's going to be difficult, and the final is going to be a one-off game. If we get the likes, someone like Lyon in the final, it is going to be a really difficult final to win, and we saw what Liverpool did when they put all their eggs in that basket last year and completely fucked it up in the final. You've only got to have an off day in that final and you're fucked. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the game. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.